This is a quick tour of the Catalyst Abstract Management Software by Omnipress, an extremely flexible and intuitive platform that can be configured for your event's requirements. First, we're going to walk through Catalyst from the perspective of a submitter who has just clicked on the Submit an Abstract link on your website. After clicking the link, I'm taken to this landing page in Catalyst that outlines your guidelines, requirements, deadlines, and more. You decide what information to feature here. And we can include a banner with your event branding at the top. After reading through the guidelines, I've determined that I do want to submit. So I hit the Sign In, Create Account button, which takes me to the Catalyst login screen. I can either enter my existing credentials if I've used Catalyst in the past for a previous event or submission, or I can create a new account by entering my email address, creating a password, and entering my name. If I've already started or completed a submission, I'll see that in the list here. If not, I'll just hit the New Submission button. As an event administrator, you can set rules to minimize the number of incomplete submissions you receive, such as restricting the number of proposals a user can submit, or not letting them start a new submission without completing the first one. Before we jump into some of the specific features of Catalyst, it's important to understand just how much of what you see can be customized. When you work with Omnipress, you are assigned a dedicated project manager who configures your site from the ground up based on your submission and review requirements. You determine how many steps in the process you want to have, what questions you want to ask, any limitations or requirements you want to enforce, and etc. Your project manager has worked on hundreds of submission sites and can provide ideas, guidance, and best practices. So in this example, I'm starting with my guidelines again, so I can reiterate that to my submitters before they start, followed by information on my abstract, my contact information on my co-authors, which is also going to generate a preview of the author byline, a step to drag and drop an existing MP4 video, additional supporting information, including the ability to submit an award nomination, and upload additional materials and collect payment. Now, as I went through these tabs, hopefully you noticed that you can use a variety of different field types, including text fields, drop-downs, radio buttons, and more. And we can have fields, requirements, and instructions dynamically changed based on the submitter's answers. As a submitter, I can save my work and return later to complete my submission, but I won't be finished until I hit the Submit button. Catalyst will not let me submit, however, until I have filled in all required fields, giving me very clear visual cues when information is missing. Now let's take a quick look at Catalyst from the reviewer's perspective. As an administrator, I can manually or automatically assign reviewers to submissions. As a reviewer, once I'm invited into the submission, I can see all my assigned reviews and their current status. Clicking on the submission title, I'm taken to my review questions. Now, just like with submissions, your review questions, the fields and formats, the numbers of steps in the process, and how you want to score submissions is completely configurable. So as a reviewer, I can see the submission information provided, I can disclose any conflicts, and I can go ahead and score the review. I can also leave comments and feedback for the submitter, as well as for event staff, which is not viewable by the submitters. And Catalyst supports both multiple rounds of submissions and multiple rounds of review. As a user in the system, I'm also given the opportunity to see this great role-based dashboard, which provides key information in a snapshot view, including the status of my submissions if I'm a submitter, of my review assignments if I'm a reviewer, any upcoming deadlines, and notifications. As an event admin, I can also see exactly what's happening with my conference, including the status of my submissions, how many I've received, what's happening with review assignments, and more. For the next part of this tour, we're going to walk through some of the features available to event administrators. Now, this sample event is Conference Expo 360. But I may have multiple collections happening simultaneously within this event. For instance, I may be collecting both abstracts and award applications separately. Or I've set up a separate collection for a special session at my conference. I can track and manage each of those collections here. I can also run any one of the standard reports in the system, or create my own report based on any of the submission and review fields. I can also create and schedule email messages to submitters and reviewers directly from Catalyst based on some of this report criteria. So for instance, if I see that I have an incomplete submission, I can send a reminder to those submitters to come back into the system. And once all accepted submissions have been determined, I can build my event schedule right in Catalyst using this simple drag and drop tool. So I can add rooms for an in-person event, create functions such as a plenary session, a breakout session, or even lunch, and then add those presentations and other content into those functions. The system features conflict detection so you don't double book your rooms or speakers, and so you leave enough time in between functions. Once your schedule is built, you can easily publish it to our virtual event platform or to the mobile app. Catalyst is a very powerful tool. What we have shown you here just scratches the surface of its full capabilities and how it can be configured for all event types. If you're interested in a personalized demo, contact your Omnipress account manager or email us at justask@omnipress.com.